Hi everyone, I'm Judy, the YouTube lawyer. Today we're going to go over a motion to compel discovery and some discovery responses made by Dr. Charles Adelson. This is in regards to a lawsuit that was filed against him by Standard Insurance Company back in 2017. And this had to do with the denial of his disability insurance benefits. So ultimately, the case reached a confidential settlement last year. But I thought it would be very enlightening to see what kind of responses he made through his attorney as part of this lawsuit. So let's take a look here. And some of it I'll read verbatim, others we might just kind of skim through. So thank you guys for joining in during lunchtime on a weekday. So let's get started then. Oh, by the way, I do want to mention Fancy Fiction's YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed already and you care about the Dan Markel murder for hire case and getting justice for Dan, please do take a look at and subscribe to Fancy Fiction's YouTube channel. Last night I saw a very enlightening video, which was a wiretap conversation between Charlie Edelson and his mother, Donna, where they were all sad because of some guy that they know who had just been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and he had 2 children, and the 2 of them are commiserating about how life is short. You got to live life. Everybody's going to die. And you got to live for the present. And oh, how awful it is that this man has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He probably doesn't have much longer to live. And in regards to this case, as well as the current ongoing disability insurance case involving Berkshire Life Insurance Company, I think it was relevant or kind of intriguing when we heard Charlie saying during this phone call that in 2016, spring of 2016, he was already slowing down his work, not working as much. And it sounded like he was hinting that he expected to be done with work by 2018. So he didn't explicitly say anything about disability insurance benefits, but then again, he also didn't mention anything about his so-called aching back and inability to work full-time. So anyway, please take a look at Fancy Fiction's YouTube channel, especially the latest video that was up yesterday. So, hi, Tony. Hi, Meal7up. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get started because it might take a while. This whole thing is about 31 pages long. And like I said, I might just paraphrase some stuff. So in the previous live stream, we already went over the complaint and the answer and counterclaim. And the response to the counterclaim is kind of boilerplate, nothing really exciting there. So I decided not to show that today. And this is kind of typical in litigation because I really hate this, but this happens to me over and over again, also in all sorts of litigation cases where you send out what are called interrogatories and requests for production of documents to the other side. And this is what's called the discovery process, which is what happens before you guys get ready for trial or have a trial scheduled, so that each side is supposed to be able to get information from the other side. But usually the other side will object to everything you want to get. And they might give you a smidgen of information, but then this kind of drags out the whole litigation process when you then have to file what's called a motion to compel, because you're saying that the other side did not fully respond to your questions or your requests for production. And then usually you have to have a court hearing over that evidentiary or discovery matter. So let's get started. Standard Insurance, they are not happy with the responses that Charlie Edelson, through his attorney, gave in response to their request for production of documents and first set of interrogatories. So it says here, introduction, Standard initiated this action to rescind Adelson's individual disability income policy. The policy, issued effective October 26, 2015, due to material misrepresentations and omissions Adelson made on the policy application dated August 8, 2015. The policy application asked for information regarding Adelson's medical history during a 10-year look-back period prior to the date of the application. On or about November 7, 2016, Edelson made a claim for benefits under the policy, contending that he was unable to perform his duties as a periodontist due to lower back pain. During its investigation into Adelson's claim, Standard discovered that Adelson made material misrepresentations and omissions on the policy application and rescinded the policy. Amongst other things, Adelson failed to disclose ongoing medical treatment he received due to injuries stemming from a 2009 motor vehicle accident, which resulted in a 2014 lawsuit against his insurer, State Farm. In the State Farm lawsuit, Adelson contended that, as a result of the 2009 motor vehicle accident, he was permanently impaired, had difficulty sitting or standing for long periods of time, and had difficulty performing his duties as a periodontist. Adelson settled his lawsuit against State Farm only a few months prior to filing his claim for benefits with Standard. Upon discovery that Adelson materially misrepresented his medical history, including the misrepresentation and omission regarding treatment for a motor vehicle accident, resulting in a lawsuit that was pending at the time of his application for the Standard policy, Standard rescinded the policy and initiated this action for declaratory judgment for rescission of the policy. Edelson asserted a breach of contract counterclaim, contending that he is entitled to disability benefits. Two distinct claims are therefore at issue before the court: Standard's claim for rescission and Adelson's claim for breach of contract for benefits. So, as we learned in the previous live stream, this policy with Standard would have paid him $10,000 a month for disability benefits with a 3% annual increase for cost of living. And they went ahead and gave him back the amount of money that he had already paid for premiums. The premiums were a little less than $6,000 a year. And let's see. Okay, so they served their request for production and interrogatories on November 1st, 2018. Responses were therefore due on Monday, December 3rd, 2018. He requested a one-week extension to December 10th. After December 10th, Adelson's counsel called multiple times, offering varying excuses as to why responses were not able to be timely served and why counsel had not commenced a rolling production of documents, which counsel for Adelson had promised to begin making by December 10, 2018, but which has, in fact, never materialized. Responses, including many objections to Standard's request for production, were finally served on December 17, 2018. However, Adelson failed to provide any documents. Okay, so then they gave some unverified responses, because you're really supposed to have a verification page at the end where the client signs and says that he has reviewed everything, everything's true to the best of his knowledge, and his signature is supposed to be notarized. So they didn't do that. Okay, so it looks like there was a lot of back and forth between the attorneys. To date, Adelson has failed to provide a single document, has failed to provide meaningful responses, and failed to verify his responses to interrogatories. The discovery cutoff is January 31st, 2019, but Adelson has objected to certain discovery, including identity of witnesses, as premature, and this matter is set for trial commencing Monday, June 3rd, 2019. Okay, so he didn't respond, didn't produce documents, even though his attorney had said they would be producing some stuff. Adelson stated he does not have an accountant. Okay, they're saying his responses to the interrogatories are insufficient. For example, rather than identifying medical providers from whom he received treatment during the 10-year look-back period to the present, in response to interrogatory number 12, Adelson objects, contending that the interrogatory is overbroad and irrelevant. The bases of the lawsuit are Adelson's material misrepresentations and omissions regarding his medical treatment and his claim that he is entitled to disability benefits. Yet Adelson merely refers to third-party subpoenas that Standard served. In response to interrogatory number 14, Adelson advised that he's preparing a list of dental practices and facilities where he has provided services from the date of his disability in 2016 forward. However, Standard requested this information for 2014 to the present in interrogatory number 9, and Adelson has not provided responsive information. And although Adelson's counsel advised that he was not intending to rely upon an objection as to the number of interrogatories, Adelson objected to interrogatory numbers 15 to 24, contending that these interrogatories exceeds the number of interrogatories allowed under the rules. Okay, they had multiple conferences regarding the responses. His actions constitute a waiver of any valid objections. He should be compelled to produce responsive documents and better verified responses to interrogatories. Okay, so yeah, interesting that the attorney from the insurance company's law firm, her name is Wendi, also same as his sister. All right, so then they include, this is the interesting stuff, which are the response to the first request for production of documents. So yeah, I don't know, every time I've live streamed, there seems to be some issue or whatever. I mean, at least this stuff is showing up, but it also seems to, oh my God. It's wonderful live stream. This is not good because it is so hot in this room. I don't know if the air conditioning is working. Oh my God. You guys still out there? Okay. Oh, thank you guys for being here. Let me just sit down because I'm feeling really sweaty and uncomfortable. I should have turned down the air conditioning, guys. See, this is live. Okay, so let's see. Hey, Z Storage. Hi, Mimi. Hi, Falador. Can the public sign a petition or request asking for a grand jury to review and decide on an indictment? No, I'm pretty sure that is not allowed. I mean, then again, I don't practice criminal law in Florida, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, you can't really do that. It's up to the state to decide. Oh, I'm sorry about this. Yeah, daytime live program. Yeah, it actually just works better with my schedule because I have stuff to do at night this week. So yeah, but I will change up the time. So, it's not always going to be at the same time. So hopefully you guys can squeeze it into your schedule or just watch it later, because actually watching later is no big deal also, because then you can speed up the speed of the video. So it'll take you a shorter amount of time. Yeah, earthquake. Okay, well, this is live YouTube, uncensored. I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm too cheap to pay. Maybe I can mail. Oh, okay, because you really want to send something over to Charlie. Yeah, just send it over to Donna Adelson, and she'll be even more scared that the ghost of Dan Markel is haunting. That's okay. I'd rather not leave the room and then have to readjust the air conditioning and then run back and stuff. So we'll just keep going, and I'll sweat here and wash my dress later. Yeah, thank you, Fancy Fiction. I am so thankful to you for all the stuff that you have done for the Markel case and finding all these real gems of information where we learn more about what's truly going on behind the scenes with Charlie Edelson, Donna, everybody in this case. Very informative. Okay, I'm sorry. There's a lot of comments here. I remember when disability insurance was for the disabled, someone who is paralyzed in a wheelchair, missing limbs. If you get the right judge. Yeah, this has to do with his insurance, though. So, it's a different standard for getting disability insurance through a private insurance company that you contracted with as a professional versus getting Social Security disability benefits. Long time ago, I used to work for a firm where we did some Social Security disability appeals, and that was with an administrative law judge. And that's where I did have a lot of clients that were really down and out, like former veterans and, really people with a lot of debilitating medical conditions where they were trying to get their benefits from the government, but not from a private insurance company. Yeah, I'm okay. I just had to sit down because I'm feeling so sweaty and gross. And at first I was standing. Oh, you can find Donna's address. I mean, I don't want to seem like a total stalker or something, but you can totally find it yourself. Just Google. They live in this expensive condo called the Icon, ICON. I mean, I found their address pretty quickly thanks to Google. Yeah, 5-car people beating system. Okay, yeah. Yeah, thank you so much, especially with the threat of a defamation lawsuit by you know who, right? Okay. Yeah, you can totally find Donna's address through Google. Donna Adelson, look up the icon in that Miami area. I can't remember if it's Miami specifically or maybe some other city name. Uh, yeah, great gossamer. Oh, they moved out? Okay. Yeah, interesting. Oh, how do you know all this? This is amazing. I mean, that's just amazing. Okay. I can give it. Oh, you can give out their address here. I mean, especially if it's something available through real estate records or Google searches, online searches. I mean, that's just out there. So, um, yeah, if you want to put it in a chat box, I won't flash it up on the screen out of some modicum of respect for their privacy. But okay. Oh, okay. You guys know too much. This is amazing. How do you guys have so much time to find that out? Have you gone through Charlie's 1,700 phone calls? Wow. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe I did read that somewhere then. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, looks like everybody is a big fan of these other channels. Yeah, definitely fancy fiction as well as true lifestyles. So please check out her YouTube channel too. Okay, so let's get back to reading more of this discovery response. Okay. So he responded, this was dated November 1st, 2018. Says all documents which record or evidence any medical care sought or received by plaintiff from August 8th, 2005 through the present from any medical doctor, physician, psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health counselor, therapist, chiropractor, hospital, medical centers, clinics, outpatient centers, rehabilitative centers, nursing homes, X-ray and MRI facilities, and other healthcare practitioners and institutions. Okay, so this is typical. So they object because it's overbroad, unduly burdensome, seeks documents that are duplicative of materials already in plaintiff's possession and or not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. Subject to this objection, defendant states that there are no responsive records within his possession that have not already been produced to plaintiff, and he has granted authorization for plaintiff to obtain these records directly from his medical providers. Okay. Number 2, all documents relating to a diagnosis of plaintiff as having any physical, emotional, or mental disorder, injury, disability, or condition for the period August 8, 2005 through present. Defendant objects to this request because it overbroad, unduly burdensome, and seeks documents that are duplicative of materials already in plaintiff's possession and or not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. Subject to this objection, defendant states that there are no responsive records within his possession that have not already been produced to plaintiff, and he has granted authorization for plaintiff to obtain these records directly from his medical providers. Okay, 3, all documents related to or reflecting pharmaceutical prescriptions written or issued to plaintiff for the period August 8th through 2005 through present. So they object again and say there are no other records in his possession that haven't already been produced, and he granted authorization. Okay, number 4, all documents relating to any and all employment by plaintiff for the period 2014 to the present. See, I mean, that's definitely relevant. Defendant will produce all documents responsive to this request subject to applicable privileges and or immunities. Okay, well, that's good. Number 5, all documents relating to income from whatever source and in whatever form received by, earned by, or owed to plaintiff for the period 2014 to present. Defendant will produce all documents responsive to this request subject to applicable privileges and or immunities. Okay. Number 6, copies of plaintiff's personal, federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. Says defendant will produce all documents. Okay. So this also annoys me too, because I've seen this in real practice where they'll say that they're going to produce it, but then later on they still don't produce what they said they would. So, it's always a drag when you see other people or attorneys playing these types of games of trying to hide the ball or not providing information that's clearly relevant to the case. Number 7, copies of Charles Adelson, DMD, PA's federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. He says he's going to turn them over subject to the applicable privileges or immunities. Copies of Edelson Institute for Aesthetics and Implant Dentistry, LLC's federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. Response: defendant is not currently an owner of the identified business and therefore objects to this request because it is not relevant to the party's claims or defenses in this action. Subject to this objection, defendant will produce all documents responsive to this request subject to applicable privileges and or immunities for any years that he owned the business during the relevant time period. Okay, that sounds more like it. Okay, copies of 6125 Southwest 40th Court LLC's federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. Response: defendant will produce all documents responsive, subject to applicable privileges and or immunities. Number 10, copies of Energy Shots LLC's federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. Okay, they said they will produce those documents subject to applicable privileges or immunities. Number 11, copies of Ocean Drive Consulting LLC's federal, state, and local income tax returns for the period 2014 to present. Says they'll do that. Number 12, copies of Woodmont Dental Holding LLC's federal, state, and local income tax returns. Yeah, they said they'll provide that. Okay, so let's just speed on ahead. So it looks like Charlie had a hand in a lot of different LLCs. So they mention 1801 Fort Lauderdale LLC, 6125 Southwest 40th Court LLC's 12plex LLC, 16plex 731 LLC, South Jacks LLC, 519 Southwest 27th Avenue LLC, U.S. Legal Funding LLC. Okay, so that's the one where he later ended up in a lawsuit with his former friend and business partner, Ryan Fitzpatrick, who testified at the Magbanua trial. All documents relating to any attempts made by or on behalf of Charles J. Adelson to obtain life, health, or disability insurance, including applications for the period 2005 to present. Defendant states that he has no responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. All disability or life insurance policies which had provided coverage to Charles J. Adelson in the event of disability other than the policy at issue, in effect from at any time from 2005 to present. He says he has no responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. Same thing with all documents relating to his application for coverage under the policy at issue, including but not limited to all documents provided to him concerning the availability of coverage, the types of coverage available, the amounts of coverage available, whether provided by Standard or any other person or entity. Okay, any other application for benefits under any insurance policy providing disability coverage. Okay, number 24, anything related to claims or requests for insurance benefits made by him from 2005 through the present. He again says he has no responsive documents other than those that they already have. Number 25, anything relating to claims, requests, or applications for waiver of premium benefits under any insurance policy issued to or insuring Charles J. Adelson from 2005 through the present. He has no responsive ones. Okay, anything related to claims for retirement benefits or disability retirement benefits, any federal retirement plan, any employer-provided retirement plan, or any other retirement plan, including but not limited to any applications for benefits, including any employer or physician statements provided in support. He said none. Okay, anything regarding workers' comp? None. Anything regarding the Florida Department of Labor and Employment Security or Division of Unemployment Compensation, he said none. Any documents relating to a claim for benefits he's made with the Social Security Administration, none. Anything regarding benefits with the Veterans Administration, he said none. So these are really comprehensive, basically boilerplate insurance type discovery requests. Anything for any other benefits made by him under federal or state law, act or program not mentioned already, none. Okay. Anything regarding communications between Charlie or his representatives and any insurance carrier providing disability coverage from 2005 on, he objects, saying that the request is vague and overbroad. But then he says he has no non-privileged responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. Okay, let's see, communications he's had with any doctor, surgeon, psychiatrist, psychologist, mental health counselor, therapist, chiropractor, or any other healthcare practitioner or vocational specialist or other specialist concerning the issues raised in this lawsuit, including but not limited to completion of attending physician statements. So he objects to it. He says it's vague and overbroad, but he says he has no responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. Any statements made by witnesses or persons interviewed in connection with these matters. Again, he objects and says it's vague and overbroad because it doesn't identify an interviewer. He says he has no responsive documents other than those already in their possession. Correspondence, records, notes, summary reports, by anyone who may be called as an expert witness. He objects and says it's premature, overbroad, overly burdensome, unduly burdensome. And then he says he'll disclose his expert witness and opinions in accordance with applicable rules and deadlines. Yeah, that's a typical response. Calendars, journals, diaries, appointment books, or similar documents relating to the personal or business activities of Charles J. Edelson for the period 2005 through the present. So we already heard from in the deposition he gave in the other lawsuit with Berkshire Life Insurance, he mentioned that he did keep a paper type of calendar, but he would always throw it away at the end of each year. So here he objects. He says it's overbroad, seeks information not relevant to the party's claims or defenses. He further states he has no responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. All calendars, journals, diaries, appointment books, or other similar documents related to the physical, mental, or emotional condition of him from 2005 through present. He objects again. He has no responsive documents other than those already in plaintiff's possession. Documents relating to all health clubs, tennis clubs, country clubs, physical fitness clubs, golf courses, weightlifting centers, gyms, spin studios, yoga studios, or other similar athletic clubs in which Charles J. Edelson has had a membership, affiliation, privilege, right of use, or a similar interest from 2005 through the present. So he objects. He says it's overbroad, unduly burdensome, not relevant. Subject to this objection, defendant will produce responsive documents from 2014 through the present. So remember, he still had his LA Fitness gym membership all the way through the time of his deposition last December. All documents or items of tangible property Charles J. Edelson may use at trial for any purpose whatsoever. That seems pretty general, but they're saying it's premature, beyond the scope of discovery permitted by the federal rules of civil procedure, and seeks attorney work product. He says he'll identify and produce trial exhibits in compliance with applicable rules and deadlines. Number 41, similar type of thing, documents. So this is interesting. Look at number 43. So they're listing a bunch of lawsuits that he was involved in. A lot of this stuff looks like it's all in in state court. So this is definitely stuff that to me would be a little harder to find because I don't think it's easily available on the internet. It says all pleadings, motions, transcripts of hearings, depositions or trial, discovery notices or responses, or other documents served, taken, or filed in any lawsuits in which Charles J. Adelson was a party, other than litigation with Standard, including but not limited to Edelson versus Dolce. Is that Dolce as in the restaurant? But then again, there are a lot of Dolce types of businesses in that whole Miami area. Okay, so that was filed in Palm Beach County Circuit Court. Looks like it was a 2010 case. Okay, I have no idea what that's about. So if you guys know anything about these other lawsuits, please let us know. Edelson versus State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company. That was guess that's that 2009, or no, I think they said it was filed actually in 2014 in regards to his auto accident back in 2009, filed in Broward County Circuit Court. Edelson versus Chimpolis et al. Filed in Broward County Circuit Court. Scott versus Edelson et al. Filed in Broward County. Edelson versus Key Dental Group PA et al. Filed in Broward County Circuit Court. Edelson versus Sawyer, filed in Broward County Circuit Court. Pfeiffer versus Edelson et al. Filed in Broward County Circuit Court. Edelson versus Baldwin et al. Filed in Orange County Circuit Court. And Edelson versus Barbic, filed in Orange County Circuit Court. Man, that's a lot of different lawsuits. So, yeah, this is the case that keeps on giving. There's just so much to dig through, so much sleuthing involved. If you guys know anything about what these other lawsuits could be about, then please let everybody know. How interesting. Okay, so just based on the case numbers of some of these, like the Ballman case, it looks like it was could it have been a 1997 case? I mean, yeah, I'm assuming that's what that means. And then the other one says 1998 at the beginning, so I'm assuming that case was filed in 1998, possibly. Okay, interesting. So it looks like he likes to sue, and sometimes he gets sued too. I mean, geez, how many lawsuits does any normal person get involved with up through the time that they're in their early 40s? I mean, now, this was even before Charlie was 40, because this instant case we're talking about was filed in 2017. Man, that's just crazy. Well, let me check in the comments. Just switch back over here. Oh, yeah. Guys, the crazy thing is Charlie claims no disability on his jail records. Oh, okay. Interesting. You would think he would say he has a disability so that maybe they'll treat him better or put him in a nicer type of living environment. Like didn't he have anxiety to the point where he was taking Xanax? So anxiety and then lower back problems, so maybe they'll get him a more comfortable mattress or special type of bed. I mean, come on. That's crazy. Just saw this yesterday. Oh, okay. Thank you for that information. Yeah. Hi, Skeeter girl. Hey, everybody. Oh, yeah. There are so many. He was also busted for marijuana in 19. Looks like they may have arrested him. His jail record said he had been incarcerated before. Okay. This guy what is with this guy? I mean, most people do not get involved with so many, not only civil, but also criminal matters in their lifetime. Okay, so that's pretty telling. Okay, so of course he didn't want to provide any information in regards to all those lawsuits that they listed here in number 43. He objected to it again. Vague, overbroad, unduly burdensome, harassing, and not relevant to the party's claims and or defenses in this action. This request is not limited in time or scope and seeks information that is readily available to plaintiff through other sources. Defendant further objects to the extent this request seeks to invade his attorney's litigation files, really, and or seeks information protected by attorney-client privilege or work product immunity. Well, that's weird. I mean, granted, basically they're saying, well, go ask the court for copies of all those files. Yeah, I mean, they're asking for pleadings, motions, transcript of hearings, deposition. Well, I mean, a transcript of hearings, that doesn't kind of onerous, but all the other stuff sounds like, it would be in the official court file. So interesting. Okay, so, well, he didn't file for bankruptcy because they asked about any petitions for bankruptcy, and he said none. Documents relating to complaints filed against Charles J. Adelson, including complaints against his professional license, ethics or discipline complaints, or charges or claims of professional malpractice. He says it's vague, overbroad, unduly burdensome, not relevant. They can get it through other sources. It's attorney-client privilege. Okay, interesting also that they didn't want to produce anything. Documents relating to agreements with dental practitioners or practices to provide periodontal consulting management or other services for the period 2014 through present. He says none. That's interesting. But I guess if he was just friends with some people and they wanted to hire him, they might not have gotten a formal agreement signed. Anything related to his LLCs, like rental income or property management, he objected to that. Okay, let's see. Okay, authorization forms. It says, subject to these objections, defendant states he's previously authorized plaintiff to obtain medical records pertinent to his disability claim and will provide an appropriately tailored authorization for medical records at plaintiff's request. Okay, phew. Okay, so that's the responses to the request for documents. Okay, so here, this is interesting also. So they admit they didn't even bother to get Charlie to verify the interrogatories. So again, they really should have gotten him to sign off on it and get it notarized, saying that he's reviewed everything and it's all correct to the best of his knowledge. Okay, so look at this. Answers to first set of interrogatories. Okay. Describe with particularity the details of your November 2009 motor vehicle accident, including the time, date, and location of the accident, types, the type of vehicles involved, the vehicle you were in, whether you were a passenger or a driver, a description of the accident, the names of witnesses, injuries sustained, diagnosis, treatments received from medical practitioners, dates of treatment, medications prescribed, and at-home treatment prescribed. Answer. Defendant has limited recollection of this 9-year-old event. The accident occurred in November 2009. Defendant was attempting to go left on alternate A1A in Jupiter, Florida, when a car hit his vehicle on the driver's side. Defendant was driving a 2004 Acura TL, and the accident occurred around 6:30 p.m. Defendant suffered minor injuries to his knee and shoulder and obtained a full and complete recovery with physical therapy. The driver of the other vehicle fled the scene and was found guilty in the incident. Defendant timely submitted a claim to his automobile insurer, State Farm. Okay, that's interesting because earlier the other side seemed to imply that he said he was permanently disabled from that. Okay, so number 2, explain why you filed a lawsuit against State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company in Broward County Circuit Court. The case number is given, including the claims you asserted, the alleged wrongdoing by the defendant, and injuries and damages you allege you incurred as a result of the motor vehicle accident. Answer. See answer to interrogatory 1. Defendant and his insurer settled this matter for $6,000. 3. Describe with particularity why you were prescribed valacyclovir in 2010 and 2011, 2012, and 2013, including describing the dates of the underlying diagnosis, the length of treatments, and the prescribing and or treating medical providers. Okay, so he didn't provide the medical provider. Defendant states that he was occasionally prescribed valacyclovir as an antiviral medication for the treatment of cold sores. Okay, that is very interesting. So could have been, I guess, I'm not a doctor. Was that like oral herpes, perhaps? Okay, see if anybody is familiar with that medicine there. Okay. Describe with particularity why and from whom you sought and or received treatment from Mark and Cambor, MD, PA in February 2014, including any diagnosis provided or proposed, the dates of your visits, any testing performed or recommended, the nature and length of treatments, any treatment that was proposed that you did not obtain or pursue, and the prescribing and or treating medical providers. Okay, so defendant states that he currently has no knowledge or recollection of the treatment referenced in this interrogatory. Okay, number 5, describe with particularity why and from whom you sought and or received treatment from Jerome R. Obed in June 2014, including any diagnosis provided or proposed, the dates of your visits, any testing performed or recommended, the nature and length of treatments, any treatment that was proposed that you did not obtain or pursue, and the prescribing and or treating medical providers. Answer. Defendant saw Dr. Obed for a dermatology consultation and believes he may have had a mole removed. Okay. So number 6, describe with particularity, A, whether you claim to be partially disabled and or totally disabled as defined by disability income insurance policy number, then there's a number. B, the specific dates on which you claim that you became partially disabled and or totally disabled. C, the specific condition or conditions or restrictions or limitations which you claim have caused you to be partially disabled or totally disabled. D, your occupations or regular occupations at the time your alleged disability began. E, for each occupation or regular occupation, a detailed description of the principal duties of that occupation or regular occupation. A detailed description of the principal duties of that occupation or regular occupation at the time your alleged disability began, and the percentage and amount of time allocated to each such duty. And F, the percentage and amount of time devoted to each occupation or regular occupation if you are claiming that you were engaged in more than one occupation at the onset of your disability. Answer. Okay, that was so long, maybe I'll just read his answers instead of reading all the interrogatories. Okay, answer. Defendant has been partially disabled since approximately September 2016. Prior to that time, defendant was employed as a periodontist, and he often worked as much as 80 hours per week, with the vast majority of his time dedicated to surgical procedures. While in surgery, defendant was typically standing, bending, and twisting over patients in order to perform surgery. The remainder of defendant's practice involved traveling between offices, reviewing x-rays, and performing consultations. Defendant was performing surgery at approximately 35 offices in the South Florida area, usually visiting 2 to 4 offices a day, and working 6 to 7 days a week. He was forced to substantially reduce his workload due to back pain, muscle spasms, and fatigue. Okay. And also what was going on around September or late 2016, that was the time that Katie Megbanua was also arrested, right? Okay. So number 7, they want to describe the principal duty of his occupations that he says he can't perform or spend as much time doing anymore. Okay, so his answer C, answer to interrogatory 6, defendant continues to work as a periodontist on a limited schedule, and his practice is still devoted almost entirely to surgical procedures. Defendant attempts to limit his work schedule to a maximum of 4 hours per day, and he also limits the number of days per week depending on the nature of the procedures he is performing. Defendant also cannot work as quickly and requires more frequent breaks to manage his symptoms. Okay, so they want to know the average number of hours he's been working each week since the date he claimed he'd become partially disabled or totally disabled. Okay, average number of hours worked. Okay, so his answer is, again, C, answers to interrogatory 6 and 7. Defendant began reducing his workload in approximately September 2016, but continues to perform most of the same duties on a limited schedule. Prior to his disability, defendant estimates that he was typically working between 70 to 80 hours a week, 6 to 7 days a week. Post-disability, defendant estimates that he has been working approximately 20 to 25 hours a week, 4 to 5 days a week. Defendant estimates his post-disability net income at an average of $18,300 per month. Okay, interesting. So I'm thinking that most of the diehard people who have really been paying attention to the whole Dan Markel case, you probably already heard the recording of the police interview June Chinda gave to police around, I would say it was probably around July of 2018. It was sometime in the summer of 2018 that she finally spoke, or the first time that she spoke to investigators. And she did say something about how Charlie was lazy and, he was just basically hanging out. But at that point, he was with his, quote, baby mama and helping to take care of the baby. And that he was like, I can't remember the exact words, but basically, he sounded like he was just like this big kid. He likes to party. He likes to play around. So it all kind of matches up with his claim that he's only able to work 20 to 25 hours per week. Interesting, huh? Okay. Oh, there's a sumo wrestling incident. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did read something about how he filed a lawsuit or was involved in a lawsuit a long, long time ago that had to do with wrestling. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Okay. So let's get back to this. All right. Employers. Okay. Who are his employers and the duties and the nature of the work? Okay. His answer was, defendant is employed by Charles Adelson, DMD, PA, as a periodontist. Defendant's occupational duties are almost entirely dedicated to patient consultations and surgical procedures. Defendant performs services at dental offices in South Florida and receives a percentage of the payment received by the facility for his appointments and procedures. Defendant typically consults with the dentist 1 month in advance and sets up a schedule for performing surgeries. Okay, so he says he's an independent contractor and therefore does not have an immediate supervisor or an office manager. Defendant operates as a solo practitioner and does not have an office manager, bookkeeper, or accountant. Yeah, because he keeps all the cash in his safe, right? Okay, he's the one in charge of keeping the cash. Okay. Defendant has previously provided and will produce annual tax returns reflecting his total earnings from employment during the relevant time period. Okay. Defendant has maintained the same employment throughout the relevant time period. To the extent this interrogatory seeks information about services defendant performed at specific facilities, defendant is not able to identify exact dates, but is conducting research to determine whether such information can be produced. Okay, so okay, all business entities in which he is or was an owner, partner, member, managing member, shareholder, director, etc. Okay, so he lists Charles Adelson, DMD, PA. He's the sole owner and operator of his periodontal practice, Edelson Institute for Aesthetics and Implant Dentistry, LLC. Defendant was formerly an owner of this periodontal practice, which is currently owned and operated by defendant's father, Dr. Harvey Edelson. 1801 LLC says he's the sole owner and director, but does not engage in any business activities. This entity exists to generate investment income through rental property. 731 LLC, same thing. 519 LLC. It says he's an owner and director, but does not engage in any business activities. This entity exists to generate investment income through rental property. USA Legal Funding. Defendant was a co-owner and provided funds to this business as an investor. The purpose of the business was to provide litigation funding, but it is no longer operating. Okay, so they want to know the status of his present medical condition. Okay, he says, see answer to interrogatory 6, 7, and 8. Defendant is partially disabled from his periodontal practice due to back pain, muscle spasms, and fatigue. His limitations have remained consistent since he began to reduce his practice in approximately 2016. Okay, so they want to know all his doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, mental health counselors, therapists, etc. He objected. Okay. Okay, where he gets his prescriptions filled, he said, generally at Walgreens in Davie, Florida. Anyone who might have any relevant information or facts. He says he's preparing a list of the dental practices and facilities where he has provided services since the start of his disability. In addition, defendant states that the following individuals may have pertinent knowledge or information as described. So he lists himself, Harvey Adelson. Mr. Edelson is the defendant's father and is expected to have limited knowledge concerning defendant's occupation and disability. Okay, so this is interesting. So he lists someone named Jessica Huff. Ms. Huff is defendant's massage therapist and is expected to have limited knowledge concerning disability and treatment. Okay, interesting. So they also, just keep using his lawyer's address for everybody's address and phone number instead of providing where they actually are. Okay, who do you intend to call as a witness? He objects to it as premature. Expert witnesses, he also objected to that. Bankruptcy, he says, again, he has not been a party to any bankruptcy proceeding. Any insurance agents he's talked to or had conversations with, he says he objected and said he does not recall specific details of his contacts with Standards agents, representatives, or employees beyond the information that should be contained in Standards claim file. Okay. In regards to other disability type benefits or workers' comp or Social Security, he objected to it first. And he said he submitted a claim to State Farm following his 2009 motor vehicle accident, as described in interrogatories 1 and 2. Defendant also submitted a claim under a disability insurance policy issued by Guardian. Okay, interesting. So I didn't know he also had an insurance policy with Guardian. And the details of this claim are available to Standard through the documents received by third-party subpoena to Guardian. Okay. So I'm assuming that's different from Berkshire, right? So there's Guardian, Standard, and Berkshire are the 3 different insurance companies, I believe. Describe all travel, whether performed as part of your employment or for personal reasons, both for the 1-year period of time prior to the onset date of your alleged disability and for all time subsequent, including dates of travel, destination, and purpose of the travel. Okay, interesting. So again, he objects. He says there are too many interrogatories, so I don't need to answer it. Interesting. Okay. Then they want to know about the health clubs, tennis clubs, golf clubs, etc. He objects to. Okay, so basically all these other ones he objected to and said they already exceed the no more than 25 interrogatories, including all discrete subparts. State your current plans for his practice. State whether he received or solicited offers or invitations to sell, bid on, or otherwise transfer in any way his ownership or management of his business. So he objected to that. So see here, this is where he really should have signed it and had it notarized. Okay, so that was a tad bit interesting. And let me get back to the regular chat box here. And thank you, guys. It's always surprising to see how many people actually still want to show up in the middle of the day to these live streams and discuss things that have to do with Charlie Adelson's lawsuit or the Markel case. Yeah. Okay. So let me scroll up a little bit to see what we can discuss. Charlie might be under more surveillance than John Gotti was between the feds and all these insurance companies with whom he was trying to collect benefits from. Oh, totally. Yeah, that would be really interesting to find out what the different insurance companies had done, like any sort of surveillance. And I think that is typical, especially for high value cases where there might be fraud suspected. Yeah. Okay. True. You need to mention Charlie's 1,700 phone calls from jail since 4/25. Wow. Okay. I get so many phone calls. Yeah. He likes to talk. Yeah, exactly. So if he does have a roommate, those cellmates are probably already going insane and don't want to be with him because he can't stop talking. Yeah. Not to mention the possible cold sores breaking out all over him. Oh, yeah. Makes about 50 a day. Okay, more info to come. Wow. He also wrote Harvey's number incorrectly on his intake form. I wonder if he did that or the police department. Okay. 1,800 spent just in phone calls from jail. How many times did he call mommy? And when, yeah, and plus, he knows that it's all being recorded anyway. So it's just kind of weird. Like, why would he still want to talk so much over the phone when he's in jail already? I mean, unless they have more code words that they think aren't going to be able to be deciphered. Yeah. He's going to drive his attorneys nuts trying to be so knowledgeable. Yeah. It could be why that attorney quit after just a couple of weeks, right? Listing to attorneys, likely. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they just don't want to provide the information. I noticed there were a few phone calls where people did not accept his call. Oh, too bad. Okay. What happens if you just stonewall and not give any discovery? Does it infer responsibility via omission? Is it contempt? Well, it's not contempt, but normally, which is what was filed in this case, which I read over at the beginning, it's called a motion to compel, that the other side would file and say that they've made a good faith effort to try to confer with the other attorney or the other party, and they still can't get the information that they should be entitled to. And then you have a brief, usually it's not like more than an hour long, court hearing where the judge will probably go through it all and say, okay, well, I find that this answer is not sufficient. So, you need to go back and respond to this, or yes, you do need to provide these documents and all that stuff. And then there is a court order for the party to comply and provide all the information. And then if they still don't do it, then the court can hold the person in contempt for violating the order, and then you could potentially be put in jail for that. Yeah, but I've never seen it get that far. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay. We need to try. Yeah, that would be very interesting. Yeah, but again, he's probably going to all be speaking in code, right, about TVs. Yeah, this TV is going to cost whatever. Yeah. Is Wendi considered a public or private person? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm sure her attorney would say she's just a private person. So why are we talking about her on YouTube? And we better stop talking about her, right? But I guess it could be argued that she's a public person because she came out with her, she published a book. She also had a podcast or whatever, she's been in the news plenty of times. So, definitely I am trying to be a little bit more measured in terms of what I say about her, but there's already plenty of stuff, trash talking her all over the place on the internet. So I don't think that anything that I've said about Wendi is really defamatory. So, and it's my opinion. So, okay. Wendi's a snake. I'm sure she has stayed far away from Charlie. He already did what she wanted 8 years ago. Yeah. Because even June would say back in 2018, she told the police officers that sometimes Wendi and Charlie would fight and argue and stuff. And June didn't really see Wendi that much because Wendi was busy with her own kids. Yeah. I wonder he is receiving liberties that he is always on phone calls. Yeah, who knows? I don't know what the phone call policy is. Yeah, hi, M. Martin. Thank you for being here. Oh, Becky working. Okay, thank you so much, True Lifestyles. Yeah, you guys just keep up the good work. Yeah, thank you, Antoine, the gentleman. I think he was more inclined to try to please Donna. Yeah, really weird family dynamics there. Yeah. Apparently the HOA kicked them. You're talking about Donna and Harvey Adelson. Whoa, interesting. Okay. Okay, Jason says, thanks for this, Judy. This is such an important case, and between you, ML, Fancy True, and others, look into Paper Bear. This is seems like a newer YouTube channel. I don't know who's behind it, but Paper Bear also has some interesting videos about the Markel case. You're providing a great service, keeping us in the loop. The audience speaks to the importance of it. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Did you guys see that comment? There was some guy that posted yesterday saying, hey, aren't you a private attorney? Aren't you a lawyer? Shouldn't you be working on your cases? Why are you talking about this man's private medical information? Or, just basically saying that he didn't think I should be even focusing on these lawsuit documents and stuff. So anyway, I just responded to the guy that, this is information that's out in the public, and it's certainly newsworthy when it has to do with a man that's been in the news for more than 6 years already and is now in jail suspected of murder. So I would even go so far as to say, like, it made international news, right? Like, maybe I would say the people in Canada, the media in Canada has also been covering the Markel case. And even Charlie himself was complaining that even his relatives in the UK had seen or heard about him being a suspect in the Markel murder. Can it be a conflict of interest if Charlie is talking to co-conspirators on the phone? Well, it's not really a conflict of interest, but it would just be stupid of him, right, to be talking to his co-conspirators over the phone. I mean, he knows everything's being recorded now, so I don't know how he could possibly have a normal conversation, like even if he were able to call up Donna or call up, somehow get in touch with Katie. That stuff is all being what do you call it, like recorded or being seen by the investigators. Yeah. Hi, Flower Goddess. Yeah, thank you for joining in. Okay. Yeah. Okay, interesting. I heard Robert Adelson is changing his last name. Yeah, well, good for him if that's true. Maybe he can change it to his wife's last name. I mean, she seems like a cool person, right? Yeah. Charlie wants to be his mama's favorite son. Well, considering that Robert doesn't even have any connection with the mother anymore, and supposedly said that Donna is a very evil person. So I think Charlie probably is the favorite son now, but who cares? Yeah. Don't know, but I suspect people didn't want them to live there knowing what was going on. Yeah, totally. True. I wouldn't think it would be a conflict of interest as they would have the same goal, but it would be incriminating. Yeah, that would just be stupid for him to be making any serious phone calls from the jail saying anything that should be private. At most he can just talk about, how his day went in jail and how the food is and how he's doing in general. But, that's what he deserves. He doesn't have any privacy now. Yeah. Maybe he can change it to Markel. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Okay, thanks. You're doing a great job in this. Great yeah, thank you, Richard. I appreciate you always commenting, all of you guys there that spend the time to watch my videos and everything. It makes it worth it. Yeah. I don't blame them. There goes the neighborhood. Yeah. Not to mention more media attention. I mean, I bet those poor older people didn't enjoy possibly walking out and seeing news cameras and stuff. So we're having journalists trying to go up to them to talk to them. Yeah. I enjoy listening to you reading. The depot is very interesting. Thank you for taking the time to read so much, Judy. Yeah. And as you guys can tell, my throat, my voice is getting croaky again. So yeah, maybe I really need to just take a break from live streaming for at least 2 days in between each live stream, because just taking a 1-day break probably wasn't enough. So yeah. Yep. Had disability 10 years before the claim, before the policy. Yep. Okay. Okay, their condo is worth $1.7 million. Yeah, some of those condos look gorgeous. I was looking at the stuff online, and some of them were going for over $40 million for a condo. I mean, I thought people didn't really want to live around there anymore because it could be underwater after a while. But yeah, but it was pretty amazing to see what those expensive condos look like. Do criminals inside communicate with those outside through their respective attorneys? Yeah, probably. I mean, they do have the right to talk with their attorneys, and then the attorneys can talk to whoever they want to, based on what their clients want them to do. Yeah. The state of Florida is so sick of Charlie. I feel like they aren't withholding info from us. Yeah, well, it sure sounds like Charlie has made a lot of enemies and a lot of friends dropped him. And June also told the police back in summer of 2018 that Charlie had lost a lot of friends, and even one of his good friends got in a fight with him because the friend, I think his last name was Antonio maybe, made a joke saying, well, at least I don't hire people to do my dirty work. And so Charlie got really mad, and that ended the friendship. And June also mentioned that everybody at her own dentist's office hated Charlie. And so, a lot of people definitely abandoned, or I wouldn't say abandoned him, but turned their backs on him after finding out more information about him, or they got screwed over by him, just like the baby mama. Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, no, it's interesting. Yeah, we don't have to just totally stick totally on topic, as long as it has something to do with Charlie Adelson or Dan Markel, it's fine during the live stream. Yeah. Oh, Tallahassee said no body cam of Charlie's arrest exists. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, true lifestyles, if you don't mind my asking. I know, people obviously want to keep their anonymity at times, especially if Wendi's attorney might be trying to, watch us and send us messages and stuff. But I'm just wondering, like, are you an attorney or an investigator or someone within the court system in Florida? What's your interest in the Markel case? Yeah. But feel free to not answer that if that's too personal. So, when a defense attorney loses, oh yeah, they're going to get paid. Yeah, the lawyer always wants to get paid. They're not doing it pro bono, right? Yeah. So, yeah, they don't do these kinds of cases on a contingency fee basis. So typically for criminal defense attorneys, they charge a big amount of money up front before they'll even agree to represent the person. So it depends on what the person's charges are, or how complex the case is. Yeah, because a long time ago I worked for a firm that did lots of criminal defense, and that's how they operated. It was never a payment plan type of thing. It was definitely not a contingency fee arrangement. You got to pay all that money, most of it up front. Yeah. Oh, thank you for being here, Deluxo. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am definitely going to get some hot tea with honey after this, even though it is hot outside too. At least I don't feel too sweaty right now. So, yeah. Okay, question. Do you think Catherine will ever tell the truth, and will it do her any good with her sentence? Yeah, I would like to hope that she would tell the truth, after seeing what happened, and that she already got convicted and then she's facing life in prison now. Yeah, I would hope she would tell the truth. Yeah. I've done inmate Christian outreach. You're either being hovered over in person or listened to over the phone. Yeah. Yeah, there's no expectation of privacy there when you're in the prison. Yeah. Oh, I'm a Florida resident. I studied journal. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, I really appreciate everybody out there caring about justice for Dan Markel. I know I keep saying that, but here's just like a little personal anecdote. So, I was really proud of my YouTube channel. Sometimes I still post on Facebook about my YouTube channel, but the sad thing is that the majority of my real friends in real life, or my real friends, my friends in real life, my acquaintances, colleagues, and my relatives, I would say 99.5% of them do not even watch any of my YouTube stuff. So, so I was really proud of that commentary I did on the Catherine Magbanua trial. And that video has probably gotten around 9,000 views, which is pretty big for my little channel and stuff. And so I posted it on Facebook, and nobody even liked my post. And then I did a little follow-up comment, and 2 of my friends hit that like button. So it is kind of discouraging when you spend so much time doing something on YouTube or something that you really care about, and then all these people who supposedly know you or your friends in real life don't even really give a crap. So I really appreciate all the support you guys, perfect strangers out there on the internet and YouTube land, are giving to me to show that, people care about the Dan Markel case, and, we want to be on it, and to see this case till the very end, when all the culprits are serving their day, or justice is meted out to them. Yeah. Okay, so you say you love true crime, just obsessed with this case. My mom's a librarian. We love. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so you guys keep on doing your research, because I really haven't had enough time to read through every single brief or filing or every single deposition. And as you guys can see, Charlie has been involved in now probably like more than 10 different lawsuits all over the place. It's just really insane. There's just so much to do. And then somebody did ask me recently if I had access to all the divorce case filings between Dan Markel and Wendi Adelson, and I don't have any of that stuff. I've just seen things on Mentor Lawyers YouTube channel, which, by the way, you guys got to see that reenactment of the deposition of Wendi Adelson. I mean, it is just, I mean, sure, it's a serious subject, but it is like one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen on YouTube. I think they called it the hitman option, where James pretended to be one of the attorneys and put on a fake Southern accent. I was like laughing, I mean, to the point where I really had tears coming out of my eyes. So you got to find that deposition, the reenactment of the deposition of Wendi Adelson on what's it called? Deep Dive True Crime. Yeah, Mentor Lawyers main crime channel. Yeah. Oh, same for me. Yeah, friends don't get it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, guys, at least hit that like button when I post about it on Facebook. Ugh. Yeah, but I have heard that, Facebook doesn't like people to give links to other sources that would take them off of Facebook. So it could be that, when we post things to news articles on other websites or links to YouTube videos, that Facebook deliberately doesn't even have that show up on the feed. So people that you're really friends with won't even see it anyway. Yeah. You do a great job. I love listening to you. I send all my love for Puerto Rico. Your channel is going to be oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd be very surprised if I get to even 10,000 subscribers, because it is still kind of a niche channel. And I mean, I'm still doing some videos here and there about the legal profession. Like recently I did an interview with a Notre Dame law school student, which I guess not many people are interested in. So, but anyway, we'll play it by ear. I mean, if obviously people are not really that interested in legal profession or interviews with lawyers or legal practice area type videos, then of course, it makes sense to just stop doing them or do less of them and then focus more on these other cases that I'm interested in too. Yeah, I did say Paper Bear. Yeah, that started showing up on my YouTube feed. So I watched some of Paper Bear's new videos. It doesn't seem like this person has a lot of videos, but they are pretty interesting also about the Markel case. Yeah. The internet is the coolest place because it shows that someone somewhere in the world and they likely want to talk about it. Yeah, exactly. So you can find your own little niche community of people that are really obsessed or very interested in a niche topic. Yeah. So, okay. Well, as that mean commenter said yesterday, I should be paying attention to my legal clients instead of focusing on this case. Don't you have any other work to do? So, okay. Yeah, but I do. I have this big mediation and one of my litigation clients tomorrow, so I got to prepare for that. So thank you guys all for joining in. If it's Eastern time, it was nice that people took time out of their lunch hour to be on YouTube listening to this information about Charlie Adelson's disability insurance case. So on Friday, we're going to again do this legal profession type of live stream where I'm going to be talking with my good friend Lakeithia Jeffries, who is an attorney who is now the director of pro bono legal services at NC Central Law School. So she's going to talk to us about her legal career and other jobs you can get after law school other than working for a big law firm. So hopefully some people might find that interesting also. I think we're going to be talking at around noon on Friday, Eastern Standard Time. So please join in then. And then we'll do some more of this Charlie Edelson, Dan Markel themed type of live stream probably sometime this weekend. So have a great day, everybody. And thank you all for being here again. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the frustration, right, Fancy? Yeah, okay. Well, we are here and we love your channel. And I really appreciate so much of that information that you share with us all the time. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you guys either on Friday or this weekend for the next live stream about this case. Take care.